Welcome to Pine Thicket Philosophies, the non-podcast podcast where we do everything the podcast experts tell you not to do. If you are looking for a finely polished and professional podcast crew, well, folks, we ain't it. But if you want to virtually join a group of old outdoorsmen from southern Appalachia, as we sit around the fire and talk about any one of our favorite topics, we'll pour a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and enjoy. Hey guys, it has been a while. The last podcast, I do have one that I have recorded with Dan and from the Nature Fest. It'll probably be up before this one is. But before that, the last one that Shannon had anything to do with us recording was she was in the audience as the time we lost Poe, which was very well received. The
time we lost Koger.
The time we lost Koger, which was very well received. It's kind of warm down here,
but it's breezy. We haven't even told them where we are.
Well, we were trying to get there. Since we last met, Shannon and I traveled through various means. I took a 4-day road trip up through the Midwest, touring farms and colleges of agriculture, and then Shannon flew up and met me in Chicago, where we attended the premiere of our son's documentary. He works for the
National
Immunodeficiency Foundation.
Yes.
And he did he spent about 18 months working on a documentary for them, and they had the premiere in Chicago. And there is, at this time, I don't think there is a link available for it anywhere, but hopefully one day we will be able to share a link to that, because it turned out to be a really good documentary. And
it may appeal to some people in the audience that's dealing with that kind of thing. That, it's just not something that people talk about very much.
No.
And that's what Zach is trying to change.
Yes, Zach and the rest of the folks at IDF.
And his wife, Rachel, she worked hard on it too.
Yes, she had to put up with Zach working hard on it, and we all know how that is.
She did a lot of stuff.
We started back to, I started back to school. Shannon is now officially retired.
Yay!
So,
I'm loving it.
Yes, and let me tell you, I'm loving it too, although I have to admit that I'm struggling a little with the weight, because she is feeding me very well.
I thought you were talking about my weight.
No.
And I was like, okay, you can edit that out, please.
No, my weight, because she is feeding me so very well. It's not even funny. My coworkers are really giving me a hard time about it. Oh, that was loud.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We have a trip planned coming up that we have been transforming I just did it myself. We're transforming the Yukon here behind us. We're currently sitting under the awning that's mounted on the side of the Yukon, and we have a trip planned to the Outer Banks. So hopefully, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, this time next week we will be mostly there to the Outer Banks, where we plan to go camp for a couple of days out on the beach. And then from there, we're going to travel down the coast, down to Charleston area, and visit with our bonus daughter, Madison.
Yes, I'm excited about that. She's excited as well. Charleston's. I'm always up for Charleston.
Yeah, we love Charleston. Currently, we are sitting on the banks of the mighty Tennessee River. We are about half a mile, maybe, downstream of the Guntersville Dam. So we are actually on Lake Wheeler. I got a little footage of the dam a while ago. It appears that they have all but maybe one of the floodgates open, spilling water. We are about a little over a week out of the devastation from Hurricane Helene.
Is there even a word to describe that? Devastation. It's almost insulting.
It is. It really
to
is.
use the word devastation for those
Is.
people up there.
Because they have, I in my lifetime, I don't think I ever remember any type of natural disaster that is even in comparison with it.
No. I know, I can't remember. 9/11 wasn't a natural disaster.
Right,
it was
right.
bad. But this
has been terrible. We have, not bragging on anything I've done, my kids have worked very, very hard, and we have collected a lot of storm relief donations and been distributing, or not distributing them, but getting them into the right hands to get them delivered to distribution centers throughout North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. And we'll continue doing that this next week. We also have a very busy week. We have some competitions. We have some grant meetings that we have to go to. And when I say we, I mean I'm talking about me and my kids.
The FFA kids.
FFA
That's
kids.
what I was about to clarify. This is FFA kids.
Yes, I am an ag teacher here in Alabama. I forget that some people don't know who we are. So,
yeah.
But we are sitting here watching the flood waters. The water is up considerably, but I don't think it's near at what it is going to be over the next few days. All of that rainwater that fell, that went through Asheville, North Carolina, I have a picture I will put in right here of Shannon going under a railroad trestle in Asheville, North Carolina, and there was a good 20 feet of clearance, and I just happened to be looking at images of storm damage and stuff, and I saw that same train trestle, and the water was slapping the bottom of it. And I hadn't told Shannon this yet, but my kids, and I don't know if they're correct in this or not, but my kids found where that train trestle has washed away.
Oh no!
So it got up higher than that picture.
No.
So I don't know. Now that's the reports that my kids had come back with that they had found, and at the time I didn't have time to go look it up and everything because we were a little busy.
Shout out to Pisgah, Rosalie, Dutton communities.
Yes.
For their unwavering support of this.
Yeah.
Sitting down here with nothing wrong, and you feel like you've got to help some way, but you want to make sure it gets to the people. So, Brad did his homework and made sure he knew he found a way to get it to the people, not to an organization, but to the people. And I'm very proud of him for that. The community. What I was trying to say is the community really showed out in bringing, supporting that, because everybody wants to do something, they just don't know what to do. It's just so overwhelming.
And I'm going to say that what I did was I didn't do anything. I think it was a God thing, because we were able to get about 8,000 pounds of water. I think we had well over 300 cases of water that were donated, and we were able to get that through a church, Pine Grove Baptist Church in Center, Alabama. Shout out to Brother Zach Richards down there and his congregation. I carried half of it down yesterday, and we plan to carry the rest of the water down tomorrow. and they are loading it on a tractor trailer and carrying it to Maggie Valley with some other supplies, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, which is kind of on the edge of where the damage really got really bad. Then my sister-in-law, Gail, reached out, and she has a friend, Chris Martin, that owns Martin Aviation out of Scottsboro, Alabama. They flew supplies up all week last week.
Every day, didn't they?
Every day last week. I think they averaged four flights a day. And they're hoping to do the same this week, and they have arranged for a larger plane that will haul 5,000 pounds of cargo. And so Monday morning, we're going to carry all of our dry goods to them for them to fly in and get them on the ground as quickly as possible. So I'm kind of tickled with the way that has turned out. I just hope that it can help somebody. That's all I really want.
I'm just proud of my country. Everybody all over the country is really coming together. I wish it didn't take a natural disaster for us to come together, but I'm glad that everybody's coming together and help those people, because we try to imagine, but we can't.
No, we really can't. Okay, well, let's shift gears a little bit and try to get on something a little bit happier. Sure. What do you think about the fact that this time next week, oh, my nose is itching. This time next week, we should be on our way, if we're not there already, which we won't be there already, but this time next week, we should be on our way to the Outer Banks, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Cape Lookout, right?
We're headed to Cape Lookout. The plan is to drive up on Saturday, spend the night in the hotel, get up Sunday morning and catch the ferry. I think we have to be there at 9:45 to catch the ferry. We'll be taking the ferry across, and then we'll have the rest of the day on the island. We're going to camp that night, and so then we will stay on the island all day Monday and camp Tuesday night, and then we'll have most of the day on the island Tuesday. I think our ferry time is 3:15 Tuesday evening. Then we'll come back to the mainland, get another hotel, and then get up Wednesday morning and drive down the coast to Charleston, where we will visit with Madison and get to meet some of her friends that we hear so much about. And then we will be coming back home probably Friday morning. That'll give us a couple of days to recuperate before I have to return to work. At least that's kind of what we're thinking. You never know with us.
Is this going to go out before we go?
I don't know if I'll have time to edit it.
Well, I was just letting, if it could go out before we go, people could give us some tips and tricks. Because this is not a camping trip that we have ever done before. So this was very new.
Mm-hmm.
Very new. That's why all the changes to the truck.
Yes. Well, that was my excuse. My real reason was because Shannon made fun of the fact that my truck was a sissy truck and that it wasn't macho enough for me to drive.
Well, it was. So, it was my truck before. It was a mom mobile.
Grocery getter. Yeah.
Grocery getter. So.
It really.
It's not a grocery getter anymore.
Yeah, well, I still go get groceries in it, but it's not the mom mobile grocery getter that it once was.
Yeah.
Let's see, a list of things I have done to the truck. I have installed lights. We'll just start at the front. Installed the lights, put the bug deflector on it, which was purely aesthetics. Lift kit, new wheels, tires, CB radio, refrigerator, dual battery setup, Um,
Did you put lights?
I
Did you
said
say
lights.
lights?
That was the first thing I said.
Oh.
Then you move up to the roof, and we've got Yakima rack with a 32 or 36 inch cargo rack. I've got a Thule. My buddies call it a mummy box, but I've got a roof
Yes,
roof
it
box.
looks like a mummy box.
It does. It looks like you look at it from a distance, and you're like, oh, that's a mummy
He's carrying
box.
a mummy.
Yeah. And then we've put on this awning. We've got a few other things, that we're, got a heavy duty air compressor, things like that we can, because we're going to have to air down the tires while we're on the island. Air down the tires to about 18 pounds, 15 to 18 pounds.
But there'll be a whole video on all that stuff.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I'm imagining there'll probably be more than one video.
Yes.
So tune in.
Tune in.
Yes. All right. So, what are you most looking forward to?
About the Outer Banks trip?
Yes.
Going to the Outer Banks and saying I've been there. I've always wanted to go there. I love movies and books set on the Outer Banks, but that's how I've always traveled my whole life, is vicariously through books and movies. So I'm excited to actually go see it. I'm afraid of bad weather because we don't know how to deal with that kind of weather. We're used to Gulf Coast weather, but we'll manage.
Yeah. The thing about, we're not going to have a rooftop tent. We're not going to have tent to have to worry about. If it's bad weather, we can go to. They have an area there that is sheltered with trees and stuff. They call it long-term parking. And, we're going to be camping. We're going to be sleeping in the truck anyway, in the back of the truck. So all we would have to do is, set the totes and stuff out and just kind of shelter them. And, we'll be fine in the truck.
Brad, what are you looking forward to the most?
The new experience and getting to share it with you.
Yes.
I think it's going to be fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. And there's just certain things about it that I'm looking forward to a little bit more. Going to see a real Atlantic Coast lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we've ever seen one. We can't go up in this one because they're remodeling it, and I think it's end of 2025. I think before you can go up in it again, or maybe it's early 26, something like that.
And then the next week we're going up to Indianapolis with the FFA kids.
That's right. We're carrying a truckload, actually a van load of kids to the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis. That's always a good time.
Always a fun time.
Yes, and we're carrying a really good group of kids this time, and I'm excited about carrying them. I think there are 7 of them that are going. There's 7 of them that's getting to go. We typically attend the convention and do all that stuff. We have 2 days up there, basically. We have a day of travel up, then we have 2 days in Indianapolis, and then we have a day of travel back. The convention, all the National FFA stuff, we try to do all of that in one day, and then on another day we try to do some farm and college tours in the area and do a little bit of sightseeing, things that they don't get to see every day, being living on top of Sand Mountain.
Yes, and people go south or to the Smokies, where we live,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't realize how many things are within a day's drive of where we're at. So we like to give the kids Midwestern experience while we're there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the kids have already mentioned that they want to stop in Seymour, Indiana on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Seymour, Indiana is John Mellencamp's hometown. And in his 1986, maybe, video Scarecrow, he is wearing his National FFA jacket in the video. his jacket from high school, and in the Scarecrow video, "Rain on the Scarecrow" was the name of the song, wasn't it? The one that started his drive to do Farm Aid.
Yeah.
And the town has painted a mural of him wearing his FFA jacket, which is really cool. And so we try to stop each year and have the kids pose with the mural and take their picture with it. Just kind of an homage to us being 80s kids, I guess. But the kids really enjoy it. They like it.
They really do.
So.
They really do. And then we have Thanksgiving, anniversary, Christmas.
How many years?
And our anniversary?
Yeah.
33.
33. God love her. She's put up with me for, well, really
33 married.
34 and a half years. Whew. Bless her.
Then in January.
We don't need to say that yet.
Why?
Because
we have plans.
We
have a big plan.
She surprised me. And she told me she had a surprise.
He's going to die.
The speed limit on this road's 15.
Anyway.
And for a reason. There's a lake right down there.
Yeah.
The road ends. She stopped and told me that she had a surprise, and I thought, ooh, she made cookies. No, it was
stopped where?
When I was helping with parking.
Oh yeah.
At one of our varsity football games at our school, and I thought, ooh, she made cookies. No, it was a little bigger surprise than that. With her last teaching check after 27 years, she wanted to do something big, and she did. So you want to tell him what you did?
Without telling him.
Without telling me, I had no idea.
He's always wanted to see the Eagles. And I was afraid that we would never have the opportunity. So I seized this one. We found out that they were doing it's not an internship. What's it called? Residency in Vegas at the Sphere. So I bought 2 tickets for the Eagles at the Sphere in Las Vegas. So we're going to have us a weekend trip. Never been to Vegas. That's new. Never really wanted to, but we are excited to see some family that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're excited to see the Eagles. And just to, we like different experiences. Vegas is not our cup of tea, we don't think. We might get it, we might get up there and love it. But it's just never been on our radar. But I couldn't let that go because I didn't want to take the chance of him not getting to see the Eagles because he made sure I got to see Bon Jovi the first time. So.
And how many times have we seen?
A bunch. But you worked really hard. Really, really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Getting those first tickets.
Yeah, those first tickets were, whew.
And it was a great show. And we've been going every album since. But anyway, this is not about Bon Jovi. It's just about me wanting to do something for you. Because you're always doing stuff for me. And it was a pretty big deal for me to do something that big without consulting him first. Because we kind of, we're a team.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided I was going to do this, whether he wanted me to or not.
And to say I was shocked is an understatement. All right. Have you got anything that you feel like we need to discuss? Feel like we need to add before we wrap this up?
No.
It's just been kind of a update. Here we are. Hopefully, we're going to get back into the regular recording of podcasts before long.
You can put this wherever you want to in the show, but I want, if anybody is in the flood affected areas that's watching this, please know that everybody down here is thinking about you guys constantly, praying constantly, and we know everything's, this too will pass, and it's going to take a long time, but we'll keep praying. Prayers won't stop.
Yes, it's been devastating. The only thing that I can compare it to was the tornado outbreak of
that we've experienced, that you
right
can compare it to personal, experiences.
2011. But
It's nowhere near.
nothing. No, we were without power, but we still had water. We still had gas. We could drive to areas that had power and get gasoline and things like that. These folks in the Carolinas cannot do that at all because all the roads are washed out. I mean, they're in those areas. So many of them, the roads were right along creeks and things like that, and the roads are just gone.
I just want them all to know that we're praying for them.
Kind of a little rambly little episode here, but we just wanted to record a quick little podcast sitting here in this beautiful place. I'm going to pan around here in a few minutes and kind of show you what we're looking at right now, where we're sitting. We will holler at you later, guys. Remember to get out and find your own adventure, because even bad adventures make great stories. Later, guys. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in for this episode of Pine Thicket Philosophies. Tune in next time as we continue to live by our motto, even bad adventures make great stories.